I'm Shawn Arnold from Brave in the Attempt, sharing a previously recorded webinar. We're talking about using Pear Deck to power remote learning. Yeah, that's professional. All right. So, we're going to be going through Pear Deck. If you're not familiar, it is a present remote learning tool that can be used synchronously or asynchronously. I'm going to change to this. There we go. All right. All right. So you guys should be able to see that, and yes, you can. Cool. I've only got 2 students connected, though, into my Pear Deck, and I highly recommend, if at all possible, yes, you'll be able to see it on my screen, but you won't be able to participate and respond if you don't join the Pear Deck. So that was me playing around, giving you guys enough time to go ahead and join this. Right now, we've got 4 people in, which is fine. Here's the thing. You guys can join throughout. Click on that link. Type in your name. It's also going to live up here in the top right, which it will live during your live lessons. You can open that back up at any time. You can actually even open the teacher dashboard that lets you control it from here as well. That's just, and I'll show you what my teacher dashboard looks like right now. I can go ahead and close and remotely control that and see all my slides and all my links and my notes right in the teacher dashboard. So that's what I'm controlling this from, this presentation. So that's what it looked like. And you could do that on a separate device too. So you could have it presenting on a screen somewhere live in your classroom, you know, if you were in your classroom, and be controlling it from an iPad or a phone. So before we forge ahead, again, so keep in mind that we're all human, we're all learning, we're all doing this together. I can't promise that there won't be any weirdness throughout, but we'll do our best, all right? And that's my face, that's my name. I'm Shawn Arnold. I am a special educator and STEM coach in District 75. If you're not familiar, citywide special education. I've been there for like 15-ish years. The most important thing on this page is this, that bit.ly link, as I shared a few times in the chat. I'll share it again. But that link is what is going to take you to the agenda and all that other information you need. So if you get literally almost nothing else from this presentation, get that. That will link you to everything. That'll link you to sign up. That'll link you to how to install the apps and the add-ons, which I'll walk us through. That's all that's about. All the rest of this is if you need to reach out to me, contact info. All the whole rest of that is just candy, just to say that I explore and try and challenge myself and the students, and especially in District 75, where the needs of students are so wide and so varied. You need to try to familiarize yourself with as much as we can to reach each and every student need. And on that note, let's take a little moment for ourselves, take a breath. It's 3-something on Tuesday, right before an upcoming non-existent sort of spring break. Sorry about that. I have nothing to do with those decisions. But in the midst of all of that, hey, how is everybody doing? So if you're in this Pear Deck, let me know where we're at mentally, how much space and time I need to allow us, you know, what I really need to address. And I know there's so many other things beyond teaching with students going on, even in my own life. There's so many things beyond you learning about these things. And I'm going to try to make this as fun and energetic and helpful as I can. But I know this is not in any way best case scenario. And I am also knowing how amazed I am with educators who are showing such awesome growth mindset in the midst of all this and just forging ahead and moving. This is all right. You know what? It's not bad. It's not bad at all. All right. You know, some challenges, but nobody's over here. Yesterday, I will say, I'm going to unlock your screen. So if you want to change it, you can. All right. So that was actually, you noted the first interactive in Pear Deck right there, using Pear Deck for me assessing all of you. Basically, the goal is to give these sorts of moments, these sort of like powerful moments of, hey, here's knowledge I'm giving out, and here's how I'm getting feedback from you. And it can happen live like we're doing now. I'll also show you how it can happen asynchronously, big word that means on students' own time. You don't need to hover over their shoulders. All right. Here's a quick question, though. How familiar are you with the Pear Deck? So far, these are the sort of responses I'm seeing. You know, heard of it, which is probably why you showed up, but not really used it much. And a few of you tried it out and haven't necessarily dug deep. That's fine too. All right, and for those of you who know nothing, welcome. This is called Pear Deck. There you go. Now you know something. It's called Pear Deck. You were able to join one. You were able to either do it with this code and this that you typed in, or you were able to join by that link I copied and pasted into the chat. Pear Deck is, as I explained, a way to share information with students and get assessment back. I'll walk you through exactly how all of that works in a moment, but let me just take you through some examples. So right now, go ahead and drag one of those icons there in your Pear Deck on the screen. We'll see, and I'll let people keep moving their answers because some people are still deciding and moving it around. All right, we remember that our ly words apparently are adverbs. You guys are doing a great job. If I want to, I can lock your screen so people can't change it anymore, but I'll unlock it and let you change it. Go ahead. I'll let you. All right. So I do have that control. Usually, if I'm doing something live, I'll lock it before I share it like that. Or sometimes it's just fun to watch students go ahead and scramble and notice what other people put. If my goal is not just an assessment of what they got, that individual student, but an assessment over their general understanding of what I'm going through. So let's go ahead. Wow, there's some large estimations here. Okay, there's a wide range. And I'll show you exactly on here. This is what I'm getting. I can go ahead and click show my responses, and that shows up on all your guys' screens. I could, if I choose to lock it, do it there. I could wholly start a new prompt if I haven't done anything on that page. Okay, most of you are hovering-ish in anywhere from the 150 to 250 range, a few 500s. I mean, I guess it's hard to tell how big this actual jar is. It's just on your screen. But it's a standard mason jar. All right, so here's the next question as to that. How'd you figure out on that number? Blind guess? Did you have a method? Did you estimate based on your knowledge of the size of jelly beans and the size of mason jars? Do you have a mathematical equation for this? There actually is one. There we go. And here's just 3 answers I want to share. So blind guess, also size of jar and thickness. Somebody was counting through rows. Somebody eats a lot of jelly beans, so they got a lot of practice. So that's good. That's helpful. I love a little birdie bots, but sometimes you get the really gross ones. All right. How about this? Go ahead and draw and let me know. This is the drawing tool. If you remember any of the names of these different parts of the cells, if you want a few hints, nucleus, mitochondria, right? Globules, no. Anything like that? Ringing any bells? But to see how I'm getting these responses from people, so type it out, seeing it live. There we go. Throwing in your ribosomes. All right. So that's me getting responses from students. Here's a fun one. Who knows where Algeria is? I'm only going to give you a moment. And you know what? There's nothing stopping you from Googling it right now. I'm not giving prizes if you get it right, but I can't. It's not like I could deliver it to you anyway. So, haha. All right. All right. Oh, a lot of you seem to know. They're in the general region. Okay. Some people are in the midst of moving. Okay. I don't know how many checked this, but that's pretty good, guys. Right here is Algeria, this big one. All right. And let's see if people change. There we go. People moving them, changing them. I didn't lock it down. Nice job. All right. So that's essentially how you can drag to identify things. What I'm gonna show you is how you can join and the types of slides you can use. I'm gonna show you the presenter tools and sort of those different views of the dashboard tool. All right, you guys ready to go on and me to show you all that stuff? And you know, you guys seem like you're pretty ready to move on. So let's go ahead. I'm just gonna show you some subject specific examples and then show you how I make these. All right. So in math. All right, go ahead and use your icons to label the correct order of operations to simplify this. So what would you do first? Well, I'm not asking you to solve it and come up with an answer. I just want you to go ahead and show me the order of operations. Which do you do first? Here you go. You guys seem to know your order of operations relatively well. Yeah, a few mixed responses, but as a general rule, how you indicate parentheses comes first, right? And then, you know, exponents. And then PEMDAS, as we found out. Like I said, I could lock it down and stop people from changing, but that's fine. How about now you actually write on here and figure out the real answer? Some of you might have already done that. So if you know now the order of operations, parentheses, exponents, some are drawing the answer, some are just typing it in. A couple different responses, and one of them is not wholly correct yet, but that's fine. We'll work this through. We see this person going ahead, just writing the answer. Maybe if I wanted to, I'd tell kids, show your work, but that's fine. We all get that. All right, so let's take you to the next place. Check this out. Here's some math templates. So you can see that if you're in the Pear Deck, you'll see that there is a website that this is taking you to that demonstrates and shows you some of the built-in math templates that you're able to use. You have access to those. One of the best things about technology is when it saves you time, so that way you can use your time on other things. So yeah, a lot of stuff is already made for you. Don't sweat it. All right, write a sentence that includes an adverb and type the adverb in all caps. Can you guys master that skill? Here's a few responses up there. Let me throw in a couple more. Oh, there's another quarantine one. I'll throw up there. This is the best. I ignore my children actively. Yay, that gets bonus points. All right. That was good. That was good. All right, so that's how we can do that. Underline now. So a simple underlining activity in English language arts, or circling activity. Underline examples of alliteration in the poem. Yep, here we go. Some people have just found different colors, which is nice. Some of the responses, person who found pink. Right, so if you hadn't known before, alliteration is an example of words starting with the same letter. Let me go ahead and show you. Here are more examples in the deck for language arts that you have total access to. But it's also neat how you can, within Pear Deck, totally link students to a website, take them there without having to go out, without having to go ahead and type in something else and go somewhere else. It makes it nice and easy. Here we go. What is the difference between protons, neutrons, and electrons? Excuse me. Positive, negative, neutral. Electrons move around a whole bunch. Seen that? So charges. Yeah. On that same note, PhET Simulations has a cool thing called, what is it? John Travoltage, where you get to test and see the electrons move through his finger as he gets static electricity. All right. Which lab tool would be best to measure exactly 4 milliliters of water? This is a multiple choice question. I'm going to pull you over and show you the presenter mode. And now I'm going to pop that all up on your screens. A lot of graduated cylinder, some test tube. All right. Some people may change, may not, and that's fine. Like I said, here's some science deck examples for you. I think you get that. I'm not going to spend tons and tons of time on that. Let's do one more that's a little early childhood, though. Draw the time on the clock, 1:30. Good job. Wow, you guys are good at this. All right, one more. Draw lines to match the image to the answer. So this is a matching exercise, math-wise. Like I said, a lot of my stuff's STEM because that's what I do. So how well do you know and can you read a clock? I assume all of you are capable of this. Although at this stage, it's also a good question of what is the value in going over reading an analog clock when there are very few analog clocks in students' lives, apart from in the schools, which we are not physically in right now. And half the time, those clocks don't ever seem to work. That should be a better second question, a follow-up question. Do the clocks in your school actually show the correct time? Pretty good. Some of you are using fun different colors. I want to show this one just because they use a lot of fun different colors. Yay. All right. Let's stop for a second. All right. Show you how all of this happens, how all of this works. Here's where we start. You go to peardeck.com/home, which this slide should have taken you to. That's where you can learn all about it. You can set up an account. Now I'm saying, and this is linked in the agenda, Pear Deck is one of those freemium sorts of sites. So free to sign up, free to use all the basic features, generally costs extra for the bells and whistles. Right now, those bells and whistles are also free. I also want to make a note that if you are trying to install Pear Deck into your system browser so you can use it with your Google Slides and all that kind of stuff, here are the situations in which you may have issues. Issue 1, if you're using the citywide domain, cool, They are not yet setting those up for the domain. So right now, the first time you try to do it, it might say that it's blocked if you're logged into your @schools or students are logged into @NYC students. They're working on unlocking those if you're using a school-based domain and it is not giving you access. Well, you just need to see who your admin is for your school domain. If it's you, you can change it if you want to know how to do that. I have instructions in the agenda, but I'll be happy to walk you through it individually. I'm not going to take everybody's time because that's a very niche skill of how you're going to need to do it. But the basic steps are go to Pear Deck, log in, set up that free account with the links I shared with you, and then you have to go ahead and put on some add-ons. Now, how does that work? There is an add-on for Google Slides. You will note when you first do it, none of your videos or like GIFs and stuff will work in your presentation because there's a separate second add-on to make those things work inside of a Pear Deck. That's called a Pear Deck Power Up. I've also linked to that in the agenda as well. But it does give you those access to all those notes and those issues. I'll walk you through it. All right. And there is a little help videos that you can look at while I'm showing this live. So you decide whether to watch those help videos or watch me do it live. I'm just going to go to slides.google.com. Let's just go to this one. I mean, this is a choose your own adventure, but it's fine. We'll make this work and have this be the student interaction piece that I put together. All right. I go up, and you all already see it there because I've already been using it. If I go to add-ons, and I'm going to zoom in so this is easier for everybody to see. So up here, add-ons, go to get add-ons. Wait. And while that's happening, I'm going to open up an incognito window and also go to slides here in my DOE account. So you'll see why this doesn't quite work there yet. All right. So on my regular account, it says it's installed, but if you clicked on it, it would essentially have a thing where you can install the slide add-on, or it might tell you it's already installed for your whole domain if you're using a school-based one. If I am, and let's go to this one, in my the citywide domain, and I tried to do that, you'll see it doesn't have the Pear Deck add-on up there. I can go to get add-ons. I can still go ahead and try to find it. It's near the top because it's real popular. Install disabled by admin. Well, that's because the city, as I had said, hasn't yet allowed it. That's fine. They will beginning next week. Like I said, when you go to Pear Deck, you can go ahead and set up that whole system in your login. And yes, it is, like I said, a freemium service. The basics are free. Some of these bells and whistles I'm going to show you generally receive a charge, although right now it's free for everybody for the remainder of the school year. So now that I've got and installed that add-on, I can go to Pear Deck and open it up, which it already is, or just click on it here. And I see all of these things on the side, all right? An explainer of how Pear Deck works, some featured content if I want, and a whole template library. Well, I'm going to start with that because I don't want to do any work by myself. So, what kind of things might I want at the beginning of my lesson? Something like this. Suddenly throw it into my deck, and boom, that's suddenly already there. It's already interactive. It's a written response for students. And if I want to add a drawing slide, 2 things you know about today's topic, I simply select it. There it goes. It adds it in. Now, the reason it takes a moment is because it's adding that interactive piece. Let's go ahead and get one for a specific subject, like younger grades. For example, fill in the missing letter. Suddenly, students are able to draw in, this is a drawing slide, and draw in those missing letters for these words. You can see there's a whole bunch more across a broad range, and those are just ones that are pre-made. So you don't even have to make the slide, right? Similarly, if you've already made a slide, and so I'm going to actually do one from scratch, and I'm going to make this a which one doesn't belong slide. One of these. If you're not familiar, WODB, this is a site that actually has very interesting which one doesn't belong from across different categories of math. So let's say we're doing advanced calculus. Drag that one in. Now, which one doesn't belong isn't a full assignment. I might have students explain it, but this is a nice application starter for beginning our thinking process around math. So I'm simply going to make this a choice option. So clicking on choice. Oops, actually, And I can make this option A, B, C, or D, which is one way to do it, and then label these A, B, C, or D. Or my preferred method is do it as a draggable. And you guys noted when we were playing earlier, the draggables were where you got to move stuff around the screen. So do I want to make that a dot? Do I want to make it a thumbs up? Let's make it a mathematical symbol. Therefore, because I want an explanation for them. And you know what? Maybe I want to change the color to blue. Maybe I want it to be really big. And now suddenly that slide that I created is interactive. Again, you guys saw as I was showing you how the drawing slides, number slides exactly work the same. You can just simply choose a slide and insert one of those. Now, how the website one works is, and if on this page I want to link them to a website, choose, because this shows how to make those choose your own adventures, which is my site. There we go. And I can update that. And so then suddenly students, when I get to this slide, are going to be able to see that interactive. All right, see that website embedded on the page. Now, like I said, if you are putting GIFs or videos inside of your slides, which is great, you should. There should be a lot of cool audio and video things that you add. Google Slides makes it really easy to just pull in videos from YouTube and stuff like that. You will have to install one separate add-on, and it's called Pear Deck Power Up. I linked that in the agenda. It just looks like this. You'll install that extension on Chrome, and it will allow you to continue to play videos while you're presenting your Pear Deck. All right. Like I said, you can pull as many things as you want from the built-in template library. You can create your own with each of these. They have whole slide decks. I've shared a few examples there of slide decks on a variety of topics, but one here is Google's Be Internet Awesome, which is a digital citizenship training, which is really pertinent right now, trying to get students to behave appropriately online. When I'm ready, though, all I have to do is hit Start My Lesson, which I did with you guys. Here's where it gets very interesting. Instructor paste or student paste. As I explained, instructor paste is what I was doing with you guys live right now. Student paste is if we decide we want something asynchronous, all right? And if I do it student paste, I can simply share this out with my class, share a link in Google Classroom, share a link through Remind if we're texting it to parents. And I'll get to see where students are throughout this whole activity. This is going to go live there. I can share it directly to my Google Classroom. These sort of sessions, and now I'm going to go to my Pear Deck page. I can go here and see my sessions that are still currently going on, that were previously going on. Here's one that's the one I just did that's student paced. Here's the one I'm doing with you guys live right now. Do you want to create a vocabulary list? Oh, that's where Pear Deck Vocabulary Flashcard Factory comes in. We're not going to take the time to play this because it would take a little too long, but I can go ahead and start creating terms. These are all social emotional learning terms. So let's say hopeful. That's what I want, hopeful. Because that's what I hope we all are, at least a little bit. Having qualities which inspire hope. There we go. See, I don't have to even write the definitions. Then I can go ahead and hit Play Flashcard Factory. It's going to put up a code just like it normally does for Pear Deck. But now I can go ahead and I can shuffle the teams and reorganize them and put kids wherever I want. I'm just going to hit Let's Play, and we're not even going to spend the time to do it. I don't want to go back because I'm going to show you this one. Because what happens is the kids start creating drawings. They start giving like putting the things in terms of sentences and stuff and seeing what works. That would take you guys too long, so I'm going to throw you one that some kids already started telling me what learning styles one. No, that one's horrible. We don't think that's up to snuff. And I start saying which ones are okay, which ones are not okay, verifying it. And now we've got a whole class created set of study guides with visualizations that the students have created and drawn themselves. So we're hitting that top of Bloom's taxonomy, students as creators of their own learning. All right. And we can even have winners. So night shift or day shift, who gave us the better responses? Ultimately, though, once those are finished, we've created a a flashcard deck of vocabulary terms that are important for our students that we can continue to use for study. Those can be exported to Quizlet or Gimkit or wherever other sort of flashcard spaces you want to use them in, because you can export it just as a CSV file. But this is basically the game where students can create these vocabulary lists that they can later use to study and learn more things. All right. So on that note, I'm going to just forge ahead and show you a couple other places where you can continue this learning. I showed you those video guides. There's also an ebook, which should be populating on your screens here now if you're still in that original Pear Deck. So there's that if you want to read it that style. There's also the Orchard, which has a lot of pre-made lessons, whole system-wide ones on a variety of topics. There's a lot of good ones for social emotional learning, which I highly, highly recommend. So you can start without having to make a whole bunch of your own. And beyond that, I've linked to a whole bunch of other places you guys can go for help and connections. NYC Schools Tech page is awesome for that. Again, you can also continue to reach out to me. And there is that agenda filled with resources. I'm going to paste that link one more time, and then I'll take questions from people. If there are no other questions, though, I guess everybody have an awesome, awesome day. Whatever you're doing over the next 3 days, week, take time for yourselves and your own mental health, and take care of all the people you care about. And otherwise, everybody have an awesome, awesome day. Bye, everybody.